Sarah, welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. I feel bad. Like Dave wanted us to all wear like nice clothes. I would be wearing, it's National Camp T-shirt Day. We all should be in our, camp T-shirts. There it is. Exactly. Dennis has got it. Rosemary's got it. I love it. There it is.
I've got my Professor Dave gear on. It's my camp gear for today.
That is true.
Although we did go to the roof deck and take a canadensis picture, which didn't go so well with the dogs. It's good to see everybody. We're gonna wait obviously a few more minutes, get other people on, and then we'll get started. So you have time to get some more coffee or whatever you're drinking this time of day.
Here's your super professional COCA-Con entry background as well. Feel free to rename yourself, turn on your video if possible, and we'll get started at the top of the hour. Welcome to COCA-Con.
I like seeing more and more names come in. So Michelle, Ashley, Lauren, thank you for joining us.
All right, it is 1 p.m. now. As people are coming in, they will join us here. I'll kind of make sure to be monitoring that. But I do want to go ahead and introduce Professor Dave and his team that we've got here running our COCAcademy this year. So I will let them introduce themselves, but I just want to thank you all so much for coming, and we'll go ahead and get started. And this will be recorded as well. And as a reminder, we will have session surveys at the end that are available after the session closes. So I will let y'all go ahead and take the reins.
Well, thank you so much, MJ, and thank you, COCA, for having us. We're really excited to be here. I see Jennifer on here, so hi, Jennifer. Thank you. My name is Dave Malter. I go by Professor Dave, and we're really excited to be here. I have Sam here with me and Daniel, who will introduce themselves in a second. We're just super excited to be with you. We wish we were in Houston with you, but this is just as good, and I think we'll have a great experience. And I love the theme of COCA this year, which is survive and thrive. And I think you'll find over the next couple of days that myself, Sam, and Daniel are thriving in our Zoom worlds, and we hope you all are as well. We're really excited. This session is going to be a little bit shorter than the rest. We just wanted to give a quick introduction, kind of set the stage for the next couple of days and the next sessions that we're going to be doing. And I'm going to start off by just having Sam and Daniel introduce themselves first, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my background and then about what to expect. And as we're doing that, if you want to go ahead in the chat, if you just want to put in where you're from, so what camp, where you're located, that would be great, just so we kind of know where everybody's from and get to know each other a little bit as best we can. That would be amazing. So I'm going to let Daniel take it away.
No pressure. Thanks, Dave. My name is Daniel Chacon. I am with an organization called the Elisa Ann Roosh Burn Foundation. I'm based out of California. So I have been part of a camp community since probably 2011 or 2010. My background actually is a little unique from Dave and Sam. What I do is within a different ball game, and what their background is. They do a lot of amazing, cool step development to program, but I work with burn survivors, and that's really what I hang my hat up on. So I have a very near and dear connection to what you guys are all doing, because I do think medical specialty camps, as well as just working on a specialized population of people, really sets you apart and puts you into a community and a niche that's pretty well tight and supportive and inclusive of a lot of things that the camp community overall loves and wants to support. A little about me before coming into the role that I'm at now with the Elisa Ann Roosh Burn Foundation. I had a past life of working as a firefighter for about 4 years. I did some teaching for a high school. I also worked with some other summer camps. And then I found my way to the Burn Foundation, and I fell in love with this organization. We're 50 years old. We've been doing camp for 36 plus years. And what we specialize in is allowing children to really meet each other who also experience a burn injury. My passions in being a part of this organization have really come from looking at outcomes and looking at data. So in addition to putting on camp programming, my big push for the world and for what we do in camps is to really look at how do you measure the impact of burn camp. And for us, we're looking at anxiety, and we're looking at depression, we're looking at body image, we're looking at all these other factors and how I can measure that to show burn camp had an impact in someone's healing journey. So that's one of the things that we really focus on in my organization. Outside of that, I really just believe that putting people together and brainstorming and being able to share ideas is the best way to do it. So outside of my work at my foundation, I'm also a board member and the board president of the International Association of Burn Camps, which I oversee all the burn camps in the world, which we do a lot of the similar things that you guys do. So I'm very excited to be among like-minded individuals. I'm happy to talk to anyone outside of this. We do a lot of programming in my organization, and I would love to share anything that I can give to anyone else here. So thanks for having me.
Thanks, Daniel and Sam.
Wow, it's hard to follow Daniel, you know, when you talk about impressive individuals who have a passion and a love for what they do. Daniel definitely fits that mold with that. And if you Google that, you know, actually Daniel's picture comes up as one of the first things. So Sam Roberts, I have been blessed to be working in the industry of summer camping for the last 20 plus years professionally, wearing a variety of different hats. I actually had the opportunity to become the assistant director and executive director of the camp that I grew up at on the West Coast. From there, moved to the Northeast because I met an incredible individual, my spouse, who was from the greater Washington area, which is now where I reside, which is right outside of Washington, DC in the Maryland side. And so in my camp professional journey, wearing many hats, I have a background also in nonprofit management specifically, and excited to share some of the learning that I've gained in that. Like Daniel, devoted my life to this passion of, you know, camp is, no matter what camp it is, day, residential, specialty program, etc. Camp is focused on creating a utopia. Camp is really a space in which we get to create an environment that's solely focused on the success of young adults and children and those who come into our population. There's nothing better than that. And I feel blessed that that's been my professional journey. In addition to directing camps, which I currently am a director of a private camp in the Northeast, I also sit on the National Council of Leaders for the American Camp Association, been an active volunteer for many years, also the chair of strategic planning for SCOPE. SCOPE is a nonprofit organization that gets underserved children to experience summer camp, something deeply committed and passionate about. And in addition to that, I have the opportunity of consulting and supporting lots of different organizations, in particular focusing on camps, and thrilled to learn from you, learn with you, and be a resource coach, and more importantly, a cheerleader in any way that I can over the next few days, because what you all do is so powerful. I am so impressed and enthralled, and so looking forward to learning with you and alongside you, and excited to have a really great few days together. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So, you're only as good as the team that you're part of, and I'm super excited to have this team together. I think you'll really enjoy Sam and Daniel's insights and their experience, and they're fun for the most part, usually. So it'll be a good time, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So my name's Dave Malter. I go by Professor Dave. I have a long, winding history in the camp world. I've been doing this professionally for just a little bit longer than Sam, but just about 20 years also. And I started out by actually working at the American Camp Association, New York, New Jersey region, putting on their big camp conference called Tri-State. So I did that for a couple years before I went into full-time camping. I actually met my wife at that camp conference in Atlantic City, of all places. So, whatever they say about Atlantic City, you can find something golden there, even if you lose at the tables. So she is a camp director here in the Northeast. We live in Philadelphia, and she's a camp director at a private camp in Pennsylvania that I spend a good portion of my summers at. About 10 years ago, I've always taught college courses. I grew up in New York. I went to grad school in New Jersey at Montclair State University and started teaching there. It's a passion of mine to be in the classroom. And about 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to combine two of my loves, which are camp and higher ed. And I had the opportunity to run a master's program in camp administration and leadership. So it's the only program of its kind. I don't know if he's here, but Ryan Campbell, one of your people, is actually in the program. So that's exciting. So I run this program now for 10 years, fully online program, and it's allowed me to stay involved with camp while also teaching and administering. And I'm now the director of enrollment for the college. It's housed at Gratz College here outside Philadelphia. So that's, I really love camp. It's something that has transformed my life, changed the way that I think about myself, and really the projection of my life from my own confidence, my ability to speak in front of crowds or on computers, whichever way, I have to do it. That also brought me to a wonderful life with my wife and our now 3 dogs. We just adopted a new puppy about 10 days ago, which has been interesting. So this is really what I love to do. I've known Sam for quite a while now. I'm also on the National Council of Leaders. We have traveled all across the country, going to conferences together, and really have a lot of the same ideas and philosophies and learn a lot from each other. And I actually met Daniel through some work that I did for his organization. In one of the sessions later this week about camp audit, Daniel's organization actually hired me to be a consultant and to do a camp audit for his organization and for his camp. That's how we met, and we've spent a lot of time together, a lot of time working together, and have continued to talk pretty regularly about camp and research, and are trying to do some speaking together at conferences. And that's how this all really came together. So we're excited to be here. We can't wait to kind of learn more about what you all do and give you some of our insights. I just want to give you kind of an idea of what the next couple of days will look like, specifically in terms of the sessions that we're going to do. So we're very practical people, the 3 of us. We don't believe in just spending 45 minutes or so sharing our philosophies and then walking off the stage, dropping the mic and saying, okay, go get them. That's not really any of our personalities. We're very much, what are the action items? What can we do? What can we do to move forward? How can we help? I think the three of us would describe ourselves as helpers in a lot of different facets of our lives, especially professionally. And that's what we want to emulate over the next 3 days. So the sessions will have some kind of information, some experience of ours, some background info, and then we're going to ask you, what do you need help with? What are your thoughts? What have you struggled with? What have you been successful at? One of the big things about the program that I run is, we set up these cohorts of camp professionals, and the comment and the feedback that I get consistently is just being able to hear from other people and how they're solving problems is probably the most important piece of this 2-year program. Just being able to interact with others, get some coaching, get some information is really, really important. The first course I ever taught for this program about 10 or 11 years ago, somebody was writing a paper and shared it with everybody. They ran a camp off the coast of Washington State, and there was no car access. So they had to get everything delivered via barge, literally, and had to get staff for nights off on and off the island via boat. They had to get campers there via seaplane and boat. And nobody else had ever experienced that. So everybody else who thought that they had these really big problems, their anxiety changed a lot when they realized, oh my gosh, these people have been running a camp for 100 years with no access to cars, which is pretty unbelievable. So that's what we're trying to do. We really want you to view us as coaches and as here to help and here to guide you in some of the topics that we're going to talk about. We think we've put together a pretty powerful program, lots of interesting topics, and we're ready to get started. So like I said, this session is going to be a little bit shorter because we just wanted to introduce ourselves. We didn't want to start off with too much learning. We'll give you a chance to settle in, get used to the technology. But we're ready to go at 2:30 for our first sessions. We're excited to meet you all, to learn more about what you do, and we're really grateful to be with you. It's really exciting for the three of us. We've been talking about it for a long time now, and Jennifer and Don have been great, and they've set us up, I think, for success. And we're happy to take any questions now if you want to know more about our background, or we can take a little break and we'll see you at 2:30. It's totally up to you, but we're available. So thank you, and we can't wait.
Want to jump in real quick, Dave, just because you teed that up so perfectly. We'd love for you to think about, before we go into specific subject matter, what are the bigger challenges that you're facing, both personally and professionally in your line of work? We want you to start thinking about brainstorming, where are there areas and opportunities that you'd love to grow in? Where are the areas and opportunities that you feel like are hindering your growth and development? For those of you who have been in this field for 1 to 3 years, or those of you who are surpassing 30 plus years in the industry, we all are at different places and stages in our professional journeys. And we'd really like you actually, in this short window of time that we're going to give you as a break, not just give you as a break, but give you an opportunity to jot down 3 or 4 or 5 of the biggest challenges. They could be systemic. So what are those challenges that are facing your organization, your specific market segmentation? What are those areas that are really challenging you that seem to be a hindrance or something you're not able to overcome quite yet? What are those areas that are not challenges, but also successes that you want to amplify? We want to help you grow, change, improve, celebrate. So what are the things that you're doing also well that you also want to amplify and create more? Or if there's an area in your program that you haven't kind of had a chance to push into yet, we want to do that. From topics that range from setting priorities, working with difficult boards, how to improve teamwork, communication. These are really kind of the core pinnacle strengths that we have as camp professionals. And our goal is not to teach you new tasks. Our goal is to help amplify those skills that you already have, challenge you to think differently, and more importantly, we want to create this environment that we're learning and growing and sharing together. Like Dave said, the best we are is when we also have the opportunity to learn from each other, because whether we have expertise in certain subject matters, it's those of you who are in the field who actually have the practical information that you may walk away being like, the best thing I ever learned was actually from Dennis at TKT, and demonstrated how he's delivering this level of supervision to his volunteers. It was phenomenal. So we want that. We want you to be excited by interacting with Dave, Daniel, myself, but we also want to make sure you're learning from Dennis. You're learning from Sarah, from Rosemary, from Stacy, all of these incredible professionals who are sitting right around the screen with you in our Brady Bunch squares. So if you can, please take that time to think about those challenges, those areas that you want to improve in. What are the areas you want to amplify? What are things that are getting you stuck? And figure out ways that our goal is to help each other to get unstuck a little bit over these next few days. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Sam. So yeah, with that, unless anybody has any questions or wants to bring anything up now, wants to start us off with something, give us a tough one if you want. But we're ready to go at 2:30. So just so everybody's on the same page, I'm going to be meeting with kind of the executive level directors, talking about what the problem is, right? Learning about what the problems are at your organization. And Sam's going to be talking about setting priorities. And then at 4 o'clock, Daniel and Sam are going to be talking about working with a difficult board. And then I'm going to be talking about planning successes, again, as an executive session, just to kind of set up the day. And then at 5 o'clock, we're going to have a little bit of a debrief of the day, 5 o'clock Eastern time, that is. We'll do a little bit of a debrief of the day, some takeaways, some continuing the conversation. You can feel free to bring your favorite beverage to that 5 o'clock if you'd like. That was our plan if we were going to be in person. So we would like to still, whatever it is, Diet Coke, water, coffee, if you're on the West Coast and you still have the rest of the day to go, something else if you're interested.
A bourbon, a scotch, a beer, right, Dave?
Yeah. There's no judgment here.
Exactly. We are creating an inclusive environment.
Right. 5 o'clock is a reasonable hour for all of those beverages. So hopefully you'll join us at 5 o'clock also as we kind of finish off the day and set up our day for tomorrow. So I saw a little, yes, I know it's 2 p.m. in California. Daniel likes to remind me that he lives in California, where it's sunny and warm still. Although today, if you're on the East Coast, let's live it up a little bit. Beautiful day here on the East Coast. It's spring again, which is not weird at all. Anybody have any other questions? Thank you, Deborah, for the question. If not, we will see you in just a little bit. Thank you again so much for having us. We are super excited. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Looking forward to learning with you all.